Welcome in. Ravens Rundown by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Coming up on today's show, we are breaking down the winners and the losers from OTAs so far to this point. As in life, you can only be one or two things, either a winner or a loser, and we have it all covered for you here on today's show with everything you need to know of OTAs to this point. Before we do, sub-battle going on this week between our fellow AFC division rivals, AFC North division rivals. Steelers talk, Browns reports. We got some work to do. We're playing a little bit from behind already to start the week. Steelers with the early lead, Browns right there. Let's show them why Ravens fans, the flock, are the best fans, not just in the division, but in the National Football League. As we cover your team each and every day, subscribe now for free for the latest happenings on your favorite team. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. Let's continue to grow this channel and also take it to the other teams with our division here at Chat Sports. Let's start with, this might be a surprise name to begin our winners list here, Patrick Queen. And I know it has been a rough offseason for Patrick Queen. No bones about it, right? He didn't get the fifth-year option that he wanted. The Ravens drafted a linebacker that might end up being his replacement in Trenton Simpson out of Clemson. Both those things, and then of course all the rumors about if the Ravens were going to move on from him or not. With that said, though, he's there. It's a voluntary activity, might I add, and he's impressed. It seems to this point. So far, Patrick Queen making the most of the opportunity from the Athletic. The Ravens, meanwhile, count Queen as a key part of what they hope will be a highly ranked defense in 2023. Queen showing up this week for voluntary workouts certainly suggests he's now fully on board, even if it took him some time this offseason to reach that conclusion. We've heard Eric DeCosta say that he believes that Patrick Queen is a part of their future plans for this organization. They're going to get a new deal done, but that is definitely a step in the right direction that Patrick Queen appears to be sticking around with this Baltimore Ravens team, that he is the guy there for the long term, it seems, and showing that investment based on the way OTAs have started to this point. Got some other names that we'll get to, including Lamar Jackson here. We'll tell you more about Lamar in just a second. He's a big winner, and you'll see here why in just a second. Before we do, will Patrick Queen play for the Ravens in Week 1? Or is this all just for show right now? What do you think, how it all works out? Tell me in the comment section or pinned comment today. You might get an ad break. If so, take advantage of it. Get your votes in. Tell me what you think. Is Patrick Queen still going to be around when the season begins, or do they ultimately trade him? Let me know what you think. Y for yes, in for no, if Patrick Queen will be with the Ravens when the season begins. Next up, Lamar Jackson on our winners list. A lot has gone good for Lamar Jackson ever since draft night when they got the record-breaking extension done. And on top of that, bringing in OBJ, Zay Flowers, of course, in the draft, Nelson Aguilar. They got the receivers there. And it seems like the offense, under new offensive coordinator Todd Monken, early indications are this is a good fit for Lamar Jackson. He said so himself, saying, had to get that down pat before the season rolls in because this season's getting there. We've got a couple months left, but still just wanted to learn the new offense and be with my guys. The new offense is smooth, more verbiage than usual. I like it. I'm loving it so far. So it sounds like McDonald's. He's loving it. But with Lamar Jackson loving this new offensive scheme that Todd Monken is bringing in, it's a great sign. It's going to look much different than what we've seen under Greg Roman in the past, where the Ravens are going to throw the football more. We're going to see Lamar in the pocket more than we've seen previously, and a lot of use of the tight ends, and he seems to be excited about that in this next chapter, in this next phase of his career. I know Lamar wasn't there at the beginning of OTAs, but ever since then, the way things have turned up, the excitement you can see is contagious. It's in the air for Lamar Jackson and this entire Ravens offense as far as that goes. Speaking of Lamar Jackson, now that we know he's going to be around for a while, what are you waiting for on getting a jersey if you haven't already? We have not only Lamar Jackson jerseys, but also guys like Zay Flowers, who the Ravens just picked up, or Marcus Williams, or Mark Andrews. Maybe even want to throw it back to Ray Lewis. I was in Baltimore this weekend at the Orioles game and had a great time, by the way. And I could not believe how many Ray Lewis jerseys I still saw at the Orioles game this weekend. It was awesome. Had a great time. My first visit to Camden Yards, by the way, phenomenal place. Get your Ravens jersey today, whether it's for Lamar or Ray Lewis or whoever it may be, at chatsports.com/Ravens jersey to get yours today. While supplies last, we have all different shapes and sizes, different colors, whatever suits you. We got you covered. Get yours today. chatsports.com/Ravens jersey for more. Last name on the winners list is Rashod Bateman. We told you several days ago that the reports were that Rashod Bateman looked 100% healthy, that he's out there good to go. And this offseason has been interesting for Rashod Bateman, right? We heard Eric DeCosta kind of open up before the draft saying that he felt like that the Ravens have really struggled on getting that number one receiver right in the draft. And Rashod Bateman wasn't too pleased when those comments were heard and that he had a chip on his shoulder of some sorts. Well, now John Harbaugh is singing his praises. This is what John Harbaugh had to say about Rashod Bateman so far to this point. Bate is right on schedule from what they've told us. He's chomping at the bit, and the trainers are holding him back a little bit. We want to be cautious, probably, more than anything right now, but he wants to get out there too. So a lot of excitement for Rashod Bateman and his much-anticipated return when that day comes. Who's a winner for the Ravens in OTA so far to this point? Whether it's one of those three names or somebody else, tell me what you think in the comment section. Give me one name that you think has been a winner for the Ravens in OTAs to this point. Let me know. So last year, Tyler Huntley had a Pro Bowl season, but the numbers were not that great, if we're going to be honest with you, when he took over for Lamar in the final 5 games, then ultimately started the playoff game against Cincinnati. And there's been questions about Tyler Huntley's role in this new offense under offensive coordinator Todd Monken. We've heard rumblings that the Ravens are looking at potentially going a different direction with this backup quarterback position other than Tyler Huntley, that Todd Monken might be looking at other names. We've heard that talk. And then you had the signing of Josh Johnson happen last week, and that appears to be, at least what we've been told, a competition at the number 2 quarterback spot, that it's not a given that Huntley's going to be the number 2 guy, despite Josh Johnson not looking that great when he filled in for Brock Purdy last year from San Francisco. Here's more from Russell Street Report. Harbaugh also said that Josh Johnson would be competing for the second quarterback spot and added a great anecdote about Johnson playing for Harbaugh's dad at the University of San Diego almost 20 years ago. Even if the veteran journeyman doesn't win the job as Jackson's primary backup, the NFL's new rule allowing a third QB to be a 47th active player on game days could offer him or Anthony Brown a path to the roster spot. So it's not necessarily anything Tyler Huntley did wrong this offseason, but the fact that they're even saying that about Josh Johnson, it certainly is curious if Tyler Huntley is going to be the number 2 quarterback or not, whether it's Johnson competing head-to-head for that job or if they go out and sign or make a deal for another quarterback. It's something that sounds kind of sneaky suspicious, to say the least there. Next up is Gus Edwards. And Gus Edwards limited what we've seen so far in availability out there to this point. And we know that the Ravens running back room is not a strength of this team at this point, especially with all the injuries they've dealt with over the last couple of years. But one thing to watch for as far as Gus Edwards' job security goes, with post-June 1 cuts coming very soon, is the emergence of Keaton Mitchell, the undrafted free agent running back out of East Carolina, which is catching eyes all across the National Football League and at OTAs too. Here's more from Alex Ballantyne of Bleacher Report on Mitchell. He's only 5'7", 179 pounds, which explains why he was undrafted, but he ran a 4.37 40-yard dash and has legitimate explosiveness to plant his foot in the ground and go where he sees a crease. The fact that he caught 60 balls for 580 yards and 3 touchdowns in his career at East Carolina also gives him the added possibility of a third down back or gadget player with Todd Monken taking over the offense in Baltimore. The Ravens have found an added weapon and wrinkle within the new look unit. So with that makes things difficult for Gus Edwards with the rumblings that we've heard over the last couple of weeks that he could be the odd man out. Justice Hill has so far looked pretty solid through OTAs to this point in the availability he's had. Keaton Mitchell emerging of some sorts. Could Gus Edwards be on the way out potentially and be a cap casualty? It seems like it's possible. We'll see. One more name is James Proche. And in the case of James Proche, we've seen that these other receivers emerge and how much talk there's been in this receiver room. Proche had a golden opportunity at one point, and it looks like that he is being passed over. Things not looking good for James Proche at this point in OTAs as far as competing for playing time at a roster spot goes. Name a loser for OTAs for the Ravens so far at this point. Give me one name, whether it was somebody we talked about or didn't talk about in today's show, that comes to mind that's a loser, and let me know. Hit me up on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Tyler Jones Live. You can find me there, and I'll see you next time right here on the Ravens Rundown.